Welcome back to the county seat. Our topic today has been House Bill 146, the law that passed in the last legislature that defined the enforcement of state laws becoming the authority of state law enforcement personnel, not federal agents, particularly in the Forest Service and the BLM. Joining us to discuss this topic today is San Juan County Sheriff Rick Eldredge and San Juan County Commissioner Phil Lyman, a county that's had quite a bit of experience, as you can read by the headlines in the last few years, with clashes with federal agencies in law enforcement. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So let's start with you, Sheriff Eldredge. From your perspective, fairly new in the job, but pretty well seasoned in the background of what's been going on in San Juan County, how is House Bill 146 working out for you there?
Currently, we have a relationship with the BLM that is on the mend. It hasn't been so great in the past with BLM and the Forest Service, but when I took office in January, I was assured by them that they would be respectful, and any time that they came into San Juan County, they would keep me in the loop on any investigations, particularly with ARPA, with the Antiquities Act. As far as state laws, we haven't had too many problems with them trying to enforce state laws because I feel that they have been respectful and in maintaining a good relationship with us, and so we haven't had too many problems with that. But I would like to take that, even a step further, and that is to contract with the BLM and the Forest Service for law enforcement, and to be able to provide the deputies out on those federal lands patrolling. There's no need to duplicate what a deputy does out on federal lands, and the BLM, the Forest Service, they are the managers of those lands. They are the people that take care of those lands, and they're essentially the security guards. And I don't say that out of disrespect for them at all, but when something criminal happens, they should be calling the sheriff and his deputies to come take care of those things.
And that's basically part of what the law defined. It provides a consistency, doesn't it? In other words, the county's the one with the jail, the county's the one with the law enforcement officers. If you move from the federal land to state land or to private land, it's still your jurisdiction, and their jurisdictions are a little bit more defined technically, are they not?
Absolutely, and the Constitution empowers the people, and the people empower the sheriff. The sheriff is held responsible by the people of how law enforcement should be conducted in that area, where feds are not.
Now, part of Mike Noel's bill, 146, was to get the harassment part of law enforcement out of some there have been anecdotal stories of basically federal agents being a little bit hard on people, enforcing state laws and trying to find excuses to cite them for things and basically drive them off. At least that's the stories that we're told. But Commissioner, you see a different issue here as well, as far as when the sheriff pulls somebody over, gives them a ticket, they settle that ticket in justice court in the nearest town.
Right.
Not quite true with federal law, is that correct?
Right. If you're cited with a federal violation, then you have to appear before a federal magistrate, wherever that might be. And one of the great principles of law enforcement is that if an officer is given power that, if abused, might tend towards the oppression of the people, then that power is delegated to him by the vote of the people themselves. And that's why when the sheriff comes in and cites you for something, at least he's your elected official. When the FBI or the BLM special agents come in and cite you for offenses, it's a whole different story. You have no control over that group and certainly no voting power to do anything about it.
What about the fines? Is that an issue?
Well, federal fines typically are much higher and much less likely to be negotiated than in a local situation. You go to appeals in a federal court, and it's going to be an expensive battle. It's going to be a drawn-out battle. You can't fight that fight without a lot of money and pretty good legal representation. Whereas at the local level, you feel like you're dealing with your people that you can deal with.
Given the other program that we do, I myself have received a couple of federal citations, usually around filming permits that are very tricky to keep. You cross 1 acre of land, and all of a sudden you think, okay, I've got this all set up with the BLM, now your Forest Service, and now you've got a whole other issue. And I've actually had rangers call me from out of state and say, I saw a place where you were on TV and I don't have a film permit. Who am I making the ticket out to? And I can't appear on those because like the one case I just mentioned out of Wyoming, that magistrate was in Virginia. And for me to appear before that magistrate, I had to go all the way to Virginia. That did seem a little bit out of line.
Yeah.
Well, when a state is given that jurisdiction, they govern over that land. You know, just like if I own property in my hometown, I'm subject to the codes and ordinances of that community. And as Sheriff Eldredge was pointing out, the federal government may be the proprietors of that land, but they're not the end all be all of law enforcement and of laws on that property.
I'm sure that there are some people within the state BLM right now that are watching this particular conversation on this program right now, and they disagree with that. What would you say to either one of you?
Well, that we disagree with them, I guess.
It's governance. It's proprietorship versus governance, and the state. The federal government has enumerated powers given to them by the states, and law enforcement is not one of those. So they're the proprietors of the land. They don't govern the land. They still are subject to state laws.
So do you feel this has been usurpation?
Well, I think that's a good question. That it seems to be the tendency of power to want to expand, and I think that's true of the federal government. History has shown us from the Middle Ages, from the Magna Carta all the way through, that occasionally the people have to limit government, and that's and it's a reoccurring theme. And yeah, I think the federal government, with the best of intentions, and all the people that work in the federal system have the best of intentions, but it doesn't give them powers that weren't enumerated to them by the states. And so constitutionally, you come back to that argument again that we live in a system of limited government.
We have about a minute and a half. Do either one of you want to comment about the antiquities raid and any of the implications of that? Because a lot of people connect these two issues when you talk to them on the street.
Well, one of the biggest problems was, the citizens of San Juan County feel that the federal government was very heavy-handed in this, and that the cooperation with the local law enforcement was just at a minimum. I really feel that in the future, because of the discussions I've had with the federal government on this issue, that if anything like this is to take place again, that they're going to contact me, and that myself and a deputy and a federal agent can go to these homes and be able to do exactly what they took 4 or 5 or 6 federal agents to go do. And that the people, when the sheriff shows up at the door, will feel a lot better, about cooperating and the things taking place. And that, if they don't like the way that the sheriff handled that, then I guess they'll vote me out of office the next go-around. But people want local law enforcement to take care of what's at hand.
And with that note, we will take a break and we'll come back and finish this discussion out. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us. We'll be right back.
What is play? Is it culture? Is it adventure? Is it...
Ooh, it's a destination.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's correct.
Cedar City and Bryan Head Resort in the heart of Iron County, where outdoor excitement, culture, and the iron industry melts together. Come and forge a new adventure where play is the thing. You haven't forgotten how to play. It's just that you haven't been to the right place yet.
The State of Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration. SITLA manages 3.5 million acres of Utah lands with the express purpose of furthering the education of Utah students while promoting local industry, oil and gas, even residential development, all at the same time. Through the careful use of trust lands, we distributed more than $22 million to Utah schools last year. The State of Utah School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration, building the state's permanent school fund.
Take a look, take a glimpse, take a peek. You'll be surprised by what you find. Join us June 3rd and 4th at 8 p.m. for the Deseret Peak Stampede. This is a pro rodeo event you won't want to miss. Get tickets now at smithtix.com or at the Deseret Peak Complex. Adventure, beauty, excitement. Tooele County Parks and Recreation, bringing communities together.